Sound is.
It is Saturday morning in Sydney, Nick, but let me tell you, and everyone here watching us today and listening, it feels a lot like we're in Greece right now, doesn't it?
It feels like in Greece. It smells like it. We're in Greece. We're surrounded by Greeks.
I've got to say, this background looks a little bit different to what we're normally used to. Has something changed, do you reckon? What do you think? It looks and sounds a lot like we're outdoors for the first time.
Definitely. And this is I actually kind of like this environment, Tom. It's a great place from stepping out of the distillery, especially on a beautiful sunny day like today.
Fresh air. I mean, the distillery started to smell a little bit strange after one season's worth of this podcast.
Well, the smells are amazing here, and I'm sure we're going to talk about what that smell is.
We're here at St George Church, Rose Bay, for a very special event. We've got multiple spit roasts happening over there. We've got meats. We've got octopus hanging over the fence there. There are kids hanging over the fence from next door. It is unbelievable.
It is. Should we start talking about who invited us here yet, or what? I just can't.
Well, we may as well. He's right here. We can't ignore him for too long.
Honestly. We invited by, I guess we talk about St George Greek Orthodox Parish, and invited us here at Rose Bay, and more importantly, Nick Andriotakis.
The great Nick Andriotakis had invited us here. Nick, welcome.
Welcome, Tasso. Welcome, Nico. Welcome to everybody to St. George the Miner.
So, Nick, just explain to us what this is.
And how long over 100 years ago, my grandfather's brother had a most prized possession.
Can I just say, before you keep going, I just love when he gets into this, into this thing. He's already deep into this trance. He's so passionate.
You know why? Because as soon as we walked in here, we've had sikouria, we've had red wine, we've had...
It was 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Sorry, keep going, Nick.
So Ioannis Andriotakis, 1930.
Sure.
He has a great possession. Just imagine today, in your lives today, you have nothing else. You have something that creates life for you. It creates production, income, and you lose it. You're just about to lose it. So it could be your factory, could be your business, could be your farm, could be a lot of things. And you're just about to lose it. And when you're about to lose it, you become desperate. And you go back to the most traditional, most heritage things you can imagine from your upbringing. So he had a cow. It might not sound like a lot of things today, but a cow was very useful back in 1930. You could plough the fields. You could pull the stumps out. You can create milk, not cheese, because the feta cheese and those things were from goats and sheep, but you could have something to eat. And this man, that's all he had. That's all he had. And one day he's walking with the cow. It's a hot summer's day, who knows, in 1930. And the cow collapses in front of him. And the guy's beside himself. My granduncle is beside himself. The cow collapses. One of his most prized possessions. It's like your house is burnt down today. But how do you resurrect your house today? You can't. Eventually you can, but at that time you can't. So his most prized possession collapsed at the ruins of the Chalaro, the Halasma, the ruins of St. George. St. George of the Sea, St. George the Inebriated, Aios Georgios o Methistis, November the 3rd. So that's when St. George's Temple was raised in Lydda in Palestine. Today it's the airport of Lot, near the airport in Israel, in Tel Aviv.
Wow.
So you can go and visit the Temple of St. George today near the airport of Tel Aviv. And there they raised the church of St. George, the temple, the relics, the lipsana of St. George on November the 3rd. So all over Greece this is celebrated, but in Crete in particular, because it coincides with the barrelizing of wine, the making of the tsipuro, the tsikoudia, the raki. It's the Rakokazana period. He's called Aios Georgios o Methistis, St. George the Inebriated.
I love how there's always a connection to alcohol with you.
Well, look, it's not with me. It's our heritage and our customs and the stories that we have.
100%.
And it's all there. And so this man is beside this church. This church has collapsed. It's been collapsed for 100 years, 200 years, who knows? And he's beside himself. His cow's gone. There's nothing left, right, for him. He's beside himself. And he turns around and he said, in his despair, St. George, raise my cow, and I will raise your house. I will raise your temple. In great despair. Of course, St. George, the inebriated little church there, was all collapsed. About half an hour later, who knows? The cow gets up. The cow starts to rattle and move, and it gets up. And what does he do? Ioannis Andriotakis, John Andriotakis, the brother of George Andriotakis, he goes and rebuilds the church. And in those traditions, we are here today at St. George Rose Bay. In those traditions, around St. George the Inebriated, St. George of the Seed, St. George of the Temple of Lot of Tel Aviv in Israel.
Fantastic.
And we are here today to celebrate that with friends and community.
Fantastic. And what a day it is as well. Like, look at these people here. The music's just kicked off as well. We can hear that in the background. We've got, how many suvles worth of lamb have we got here?
At least 4 or 5. Tom, I was going to say, I thought this was for our farewell, but obviously I'm mistaken.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point. This is actually the season finale of Ouzo Talk. This is the end of our first year in production. And what a year it's been. Could you think of a better way to finish it all up than something like this? I mean, I'm going with the idea that they're doing it for us, obviously, but let's stick with that story.
Classic. No, look, what a story, Nick. And what a great experience to be part of.
You, as a community, are part of us. And we're doing it for all the community. And therefore, we are doing it for everybody. Thank you. Thank you. That's all. Thank you, Nico.
Thank you.
Look, Tom, I think maybe just start to explain what we're seeing around us and what we're smelling.
As we've just said, we've got about 5 or 6 suvles in front of us with lamb. There's an Antichristo, the Cretan barbecue, that is, right in the corner there.
The Antichristo is from antichristo.com. Grigori in Iraklio is a beautiful man. You may have seen him with Peter Maneas on My Greek Odyssey.
Oh, yes, we did.
What recently. What a great family.
Speak of the devil, he's right there in front of us here.
And there is he.
The hammer's here.
The hammer's
there he is.
There he is.
Hey.
Bring him here. Come here.
Welcome, mate.
Come here.
There he is.
Hello, it's good to see you.
We're just talking about your hammer.
Come here.
We've got returning guests here.
Hey.
Oh, no, mate, they're not too heavy for you. Hey, boys, how are we, all right?
We're doing well, mate. How are you?
Excellent. We're just talking about your Cretan episode.
Yeah, well, I'm wearing black at the moment for my Cretan episode. You know, I've got the Cretan here, Michael Buttle.
Sitting on him.
Yeah.
For those who can't see.
Is this uncomfortable for you or what?
Yeah, no. We're going well.
Nick can't feel
He's comfortable.
He's been drinking since 8 a.m.
Talk about Grigori. Talk about the Amamolitis brothers, the Antichristo in Crete.
The Antichristo is unbelievable, boys. I just can't get over this mechanism, you know. It is. It creates a barbecue from, what is it, 2,500, 3,000 years old?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's the best wheat barbecue. Are you going to do it today?
Yeah, we are.
It's already in the corner.
To the corner.
Well, we've got something to look forward to, haven't we?
We nearly set the fence on fire as well.
Yeah.
Just quietly on that one.
Yeah. We're not live, are we, boys?
We're not live. We can edit this.
I can say fuck and shit like that, can I?
We're on church grounds. We probably should before.
No. The church grounds is at that gate over there.
We're okay. We're in the clear.
Listen, it's okay. I was christened here. I was married here. Both my sons were christened here as well.
Yes. I christened my godson here too.
Yeah,
we've got a connection.
This is holy ground on many fronts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Well, look, it's good to have both of you gents here.
You sit here and talk to Nick. I'll talk to you later.
No problem. Look.
He won't let you up.
He's not letting him go.
No.
Well, look, we've got
the R kicking in.
Hang on, let me turn it around.
Well, look, we've got a huge show planned for you guys, and it's going to be a little bit different to what we usually do because it's live, obviously. We're going to revisit a few of the highlights of Season 1. We're going to talk about what made the first season of Ouzo Talk so special. We may have some impromptu guests like we just did, obviously, joining us. We might try some different meats like we've been doing all day as well. And we'll definitely be having a bit of a drink. So on that note, do you think we should have one?
Have one or have many?
Have 1 dozen.
Let's begin our second round of drinks.
Absolutely. So we've got a large bottle of Plomari. We've got some Tipuro here, boys.
And I have a beer here. Because this is a Greek-Australian event. There's plenty of wine here, and Tsipuro and Chikoudia.
And Nick's wine as well.
And Nick Bourdaniotis is married for wine company.
Fantastic.
The Amphora wine here. And I have a beer. I don't normally drink beer, but this is ceremonial and celebratory. This is a great Greek-Australian event. Όλα είναι ένα ψέμα, μια ανάσα, μια ζωή.
Στέλιος Καζατζίδης.
What an amazing journey for those that want to see. Viva!
I love it. You're a
Viva, στην υγεία μας.
Cheers.
Γεια μας, παιδιά. The plomari gets better with every tasting, let me tell you.
I just had my fourth shot of Chikoudia.
Dear.
The beer is beautiful. From my great friend Theo Damianakis at the Warren View Hotel in Enmore. Local beers, local community. Theo and Tanya Damianakis.
And it's important to mention that a lot of this stuff, or the vast majority of this stuff, is donated, isn't it? This is really a community event.
Yeah. It's a community event.
And it all goes back to the church.
Paris Hospitality, George Confos and Jagger, myself, and the time. The most important thing in life is time, not material possessions.
Yeah.
So to give your time, that's more precious than anything, because you cannot buy that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I'm struggling to think of another event that might even resemble this anywhere else in Australia. Like, we do try to do things like Panigiria and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This feels a little bit different, though. It's not really vendors. This is everyone in together. This is really a community thing.
It is. And friends of friends of friends. So it's about φιλότιμο, philia, and sevasmos. Everybody you see here today, I don't know, there might be 200, there might be 400, who knows?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter about the numbers. What is important is the energy, the vibe.
And what an energy it is today.
It's a great energy.
But Nick, I think you said we're going back to our traditional roots.
We are.
You said hunters, fathers and sons, hunters and celebration.
Bravo. So today, and a lot of the barbecues we do is a celebration of the hunt. So for
the
whatever
hunt
reason,
referring to going and hunting for game.
That's
and so
right,
forth.
and that's finished, obviously, in the urban, in the industrial, post-industrial
They call it kinigi now, don't they?
Το λένε κυνήγι, the hunt, but the hunt has already been done. But we're celebrating the post-hunt period.
Right.
And that's where we are today, in friendship, in camaraderie, in φιλότιμο and philia. And that's what everybody's here. And we have the great barbecue from Crete, the Antikristo. We have the Tripoli lambs. We have a goat, a pig. We have a couple of lambs from Tripoli. And Bill and Paul Nicholas Trachanas will talk about that later.
Sure.
And that's the thing we're celebrating here today. The origins and the places and the heritage of Greece, and more importantly, our human connections.
And the thing is, we're going back to our community roots. So we're in a Western civilization. We're all busy. We're all with our phones.
Yes.
However, we're going back to how cooking food was done thousands and thousands of years ago.
The aim and the goals here to have a gas-free zone. We only use wood, charcoal, barbecue. Everything you see here today has no gas. It's just from wood. We'll try and get it as close as we can to thousands of years, hundreds of years, who knows?
You know what I love most about it, Nick? You've got the young generation coming through. There's a couple of young kids out there.
Yeah, well, it's fathers, kids and mates.
Definitely.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we're showing the next generation of what our great-grandparents...
And you know what? That's been the risk over the last generations or the last few decades. You go to a lot of these Greek events and you can see the population aging.
Yeah.
You go to Greek events now and there's a lot of young people there. It must be really inspiring for you to see, Nick.
It is. And Dr. Peter Alexakis, he's got the hanging octopus that's going on charcoal.
Yeah.
We'll have to bring him on, because
absolutely.
he did explain how he made all that and what he did. And
we cut the meat. We have a slab of marble from Euro Marble. Beautiful. I know I'm dropping a few businesses here.
That's okay.
Go for it.
But they're my friends. They're all friends.
Definitely.
All of these people are making this event possible.
And Euro Marble bring in Greek stone, and we cut the meat on Greek earth. It's part of the heritage, part of just the tiniest thing we can, like a thread, we just hang on to.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And look, you spoke about Filotimo just before. The Filotimo that you've shown to this show is unbelievable, and we're so grateful that you've been part of this first season in such a big way, Nick. I think you've been mentioned on virtually every episode since you came on. You've been on a few episodes, Greek wines, World War II. You're on this one now. Obviously you had a good time because you invited us to this event. What has Ouzo Talk meant for you now that we're at the end of the first season?
Tasso and Nick, Ouzo Talk's been an amazing thing. It's been able to connect people from all over the world whether they're Greeks or they're non-Greeks. That's not the point. The point is connecting people of a like-minded spirit, of a like-minded ethos. And I think that's where your listeners come from. So it doesn't have to be Greek. We are all Greeks.
Yes.
But we're also all humans too. And what connects us is beyond the countries that we come from, what connects us is the human spirit. And that's what I think Ouzo Talk picks up. It picks up that essence and it can reach out to a lot of people. And I congratulate both you, Tom, and Nick for bringing this together. And the many guests you've had along the way.
Yeah.
There's been some amazing people.
Absolutely.
Amazing individuals in their field. And the field of human endeavour is a massive rainbow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me ask you, I mean, because, obviously you listen to the podcast. Have you had any highlights personally? What's really resonated with you? You can pick your own episode, mind you.
No.
There's some of my favourite, Nick. You can pick it.
No. There are some highlights there. I think Captain John Stavridis.
Absolutely.
Right.
Captain John Stavridis, the most unassuming, most humble person that I know.
Yeah.
Yet what an amazing wildfire. Harnessed, controlled and measured. But tap it, and what a wellspring.
Yeah.
What a wellspring. This is an amazing Australian. I think it's a massive highlight. I think Peter Maneas.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, disclaimer here, Peter Maneas is my kubaro, but beyond that, who had this vision to visit every inhabited island of Greece?
Yeah.
He did. And Helen, his wife, that he mentions many times, but without Helen, there's no Peter.
Yeah.
These are you can't deconstruct all this.
Yeah.
These are all one and whole. So Peter Maneas, what an amazing journey.
Yeah.
What an amazing journey he's given to many people. And I mean, look, one day we're going to Wollongong, we're coming back on the freeway. I was with Peter and Terry, my brother, and we stopped to buy some fruit, at a store on the side of the expressway there. And when we stopped the car, we got out, and straight away there was a commotion. The car in front of us, they saw Peter and they go, "My God, it's Peter Maneas." They were excited.
Yeah.
How is it to be like a child? How is it to be like a child once again, to be excited?
Yeah.
That's what Peter Maneas does in a lot of people through his contribution, massive contribution, My Greek Odyssey. He's given this great happiness, this great experience to people to be children again.
Yeah.
To excite in the most amazing things they once remembered or they've discovered through him.
Yeah. And he's even mentioned as well, when they're filming, particularly after the first few seasons were released, going back to Greece and having people recognize him and his crew overseas.
Yeah.
All of them want to talk to him.
Yeah.
All of them want to have a drink with him, have a cafe or something like that.
They do.
They're all inspired.
They are, absolutely. And straight away when they saw him, he went straight to them and talked to them like they were his next door neighbours.
Yeah.
That's Peter.
Definitely. And we can vouch for that. He came and talked to us like we're related.
Of course.
And I think
Into our home, same.
And I think, Nick, you mentioned the other day, because we had Mark Burris on the show a few weeks ago. It's interesting to see how many people have walked through that door, sat at that table in front of that microphone, and how comfortable they all feel and how connected we all feel. Everyone, whether they are multi-squillionaires or unbelievable artists or whatever the hell they are, they're Greeks and they're people just like us.
Absolutely.
And we all enjoy a drink and we're all connected by our Greek heritage.
Yeah, we are. That's a very good message, Tom. Because at the end of the day, everything's a byproduct of who you are.
It goes back to your core values and who we are.
Your core essence, your philosophy, your ethos. They're the most important things. And that connects a lot of people, regardless if they're Greeks or non-Greeks. It's the ethos, the essence, the existence of the human condition.
So all that's like an extra, the money you've made, the performances you've done, that's all just a byproduct of actually who you really are.
These things are for the material world, not for the spiritual world.
Exactly.
They don't cover culture. They don't cover heritage.
Yeah.
They don't get to the essence of what it is to be a human. The material world gets us to the essence of catering for the animal.
Yeah.
We are, after all, half animals and half gods. So we have to cater for the animal but we also have to cater for the God and the spirit and the essence of who we are.
Yeah, what a message. Well, look, Nick, this is all your event. I mean, obviously created with a lot of great friends and a lot of great people. But look, we're going to let you go for a few minutes, but we're going to kind of hold on to you in your capacity as our de facto producer. So Nick and I are going to have a chat about the first season. Go out, be with your mates, and bring us some people back to talk to about these meets.
Thank you, Tasso. But I'm just a lightning rod to attract the lightning. The lightning are all the people you see here today. That is the spirit.
Yeah.
It's everybody that's here today, and all the guests that's been on Ouzo Talk.
Yeah.
That's the energy.
Yeah.
The lightning rods, you know why they throw them away in the landfill.
Nick,
Don't worry about that.
You're the connector. You bring us all together. That's what it is.
That goes to the
Absolutely.
landfill one day.
No, not anymore.
Spirit does it.
Bravo, Nico.
Nick, go and be with your friends, mate.
Nasakala. Welcome here. Welcome to St. George Rose Bay.
Nasakala, mate. Bring us some people back.
And Daxio will.
Good stuff. Well, Nick Athanasiou, mate, this has been a huge first year for the podcast, hasn't it? Where do we even begin? Let's go back to the beginning. How did we get to this point? Where did this start? Let's remind ourselves.
It all started me walking out of a men's toilet at QCB7.
QCB6, I think it was.
QCB6, Qantas head office at Mascot.
Absolutely.
And I saw this amazing flag. I thought, wow, what country is that? It looked like it had some sort of a connection to it, but I didn't know what it was. And then went up to you and I said, Tom, sorry, what flag is this? And he said, it's a Corfu flag. And I said, are you Greek?
Yeah.
And he said, yes. And that was it.
Yeah.
As soon as he said yes,
Best
we
mates.
connected.
Family.
Straight away. I think I sat on your desk. We talked footy, we talked everything, and I thought, shit, we better get back to work here.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I wonder how much time actually did pass.
I'm not sure. It felt like it was nothing, but we just had that connection, that common interest.
Yeah.
Those stories started to come out.
The Greekness again. From there, obviously, we had the lockdown not long after that, and a few years after that, if we're honest. But
well, it got formalised then, didn't it? So once Sydney went into lockdown, we were all at home. We were allowed an hour out a day. We sort of formalised our chat. We said, every day we're going to meet up at this coffee shop, grab our coffee, walk up and down Brighton Beach, and then talk. Yeah. And everything we talked about was everything about our heritage, our history, our culture, our philosophy. That's how it all started, from nothing.
That's right, walking up and down Brighton Beach, and here we are. I remember at the beginning us talking about, look, it'd be good if we could get a few episodes. Maybe we'll get to 10. Here we are, we're just shy of 30 now. We're at the end of season 1.
Well, it took a while, didn't it? You had to do a lot of convincing for me, because you're obviously you're the journalist behind all this, and you're a natural, and I need a bit of convincing. And once we did our first 2 episodes, I thought, you know what, I'm actually enjoying this.
Well, the interesting thing was, it was all about just getting it going. You know what I mean? It was just a case of, let's just try it, and whatever happens, happens. If it doesn't work, we don't put it out.
Yeah.
And after that first episode, which is called Meet the Boys, if you haven't heard it, go back and take a listen. You probably cringe listening back to it. I think we've improved a little bit since then.
I still cringe, mate. I can't listen to my own voice.
Well, I listen to it a lot, quite a lot. Oh, we're being photographed.
Hello. How are you, mate?
Good stuff.
Live on Insta.
Oh, good
beautiful.
stuff, mate.
Thank you.
Live
Hello.
on Instagram. There you go. See, mate, we weren't even thought of a year ago. Now we're live on Insta with someone else.
So who would have thought that humble beginning, that first Meet the Boys episode, we are now sitting in a backyard of the church. We've got 4 lambs on the spit. Mind you, they're being turned manually, like a traditional way.
Yeah.
We've got about 6 or 7 types of barbecues. There's people everywhere.
Yep.
They're giving us shots of Tickle VR. They're coming up, they're shaking our hands, they're taking photos of us. Who would have thought a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, just being offered a free drink in some respects would have been enough. But we've said that word community a number of times today already. This really feels like family to some degree, because the second that we walked in, it was a case of, here's a shot of Tsipuro, here's some food, let's go. And we actually struggled to set up, didn't we? Because we were just being bombarded.
Oh, the Philodimo gene kicked in. We couldn't eat enough. You had barbecue meats, we had cheeses and bitter bread and Sikudiyar and Ouzo from 8, 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
We couldn't get enough of it. We were full. We couldn't even set up, like you said.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah, it's just so hospitable, all these people around us, and they love what we're doing. And what we're doing is just not even promoting our culture, we're just talking about it.
Absolutely.
We don't even need to promote it, we're just saying what we do, and this is how we act and behave and so forth.
Yeah. In your opinion, what's been your best episode?
Look, it's really hard to pick. Yamas, boys.
Nasakala.
How are you, lads?
How are you, mate?
Say hello.
How are
Good
you?
stuff, mate.
My name's George Mavrocordatos.
G'day, George.
Welcome, George.
Yeah,
good on you, mate.
lads. Good.
We're going to call
Good on you,
in.
mate.
Oh,
mate, well,
haloumi, oh my God.
you can jump in there. I'm okay for the moment.
Fantastic. But
But
it's
see,
all...
this is
Doesn't get more authentic than this, mate.
absolutely.
Off the coals.
Okay, you're Alexakis, the octopus guy, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to get you on. I want to know how you did that octopus. It looks great. It tastes even better. So don't go too far away. We're going to drag you in.
Yeah,
okay, we've got a seat ready for you.
I've got official octopus duty at the moment, but I will spare a moment for you guys.
Beautiful.
We'll get Nick to grab you. Don't worry. See, this is the spirit of the day. Everyone's just coming in. Everyone feels really comfortable. We might be recording, but mate, that doesn't matter. This is all family.
What do we care? How good is halloumi? My God.
It looks bloody good, let me tell you.
Okay, favourite episode. Look, really tough one, Tom. It's like trying to pick your favourite child sometimes. I had a connection with every episode. Look, a couple of things out of some of those episodes really stick to mind. The Stavridis one, when he mentioned James Stavridis, what it did defining a Greek. What does it mean to be a Greek? And he said those three things, and it really stuck in my mind, you know. Greeks are optimistic. If you're optimistic, we know things will get better. You've got that philoxenia, love of a stranger, and love of learning.
Yeah.
Got those three things that really stuck in me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And that sort of defines a Greek, because I think through many of our episodes, it's like we're searching who we are, what we're all about, what's the meaning of life. But those things really stuck out. And Zorba the Greek episode, that was another one. Maybe I drank too much in that episode, but...
You mean in every episode we did?
Okay, maybe everyone then. Yeah, look, that was a great one as well. We talked about, the meaning of freedom and the balance between harmony and, the passion and what it's like to be alive. And we talked about life of Zorba and is that the true meaning of it? I don't know. I'm rambling on a bit here, but the Zorba one definitely... Mary Koustas, her amazing story. Peter Maneas, having him in. Oh, he's our mate. How are you? There's too many to choose, Tom.
Yeah.
Even the Bouzouki one, I loved it.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm very intriguing. I love asking a lot of questions. But look, question for you as well. What was your favourite? I'm sure you had a couple.
Well, you've cheated because you've mentioned half the catalogue there. So I'm going to try to stick to one. Mm-hmm. And this one's a bit of an outlier in all of the episodes, but. The episode with Thanasi Polikandrioti. And the reason why I say that is because we very nearly didn't do it. And the reason why we nearly didn't do it was because we had to do it entirely in Greek, which was a challenge for both of us. But look, in the spirit of what we're doing here, I feel as though we rose to the challenge. And we just gave it a go, thought, look, let's try it. You don't get many opportunities to talk to someone like that during the course of normal operation, let's say. To be able to sit in a room like that. I remember saying to you after that episode, always remember you had a Bouzouki legend sit in your living room playing you the songs that he's written, that he has played with some of the greatest legends to ever grace Greek music. It was probably the most challenging episode, like I said, but what a result and what an honor it was to be in the same room as him. That would probably be my one, I would say.
You carry that episode. Your Greek is impeccable.
You're too kind, but...
No, you did. You carried that episode. I couldn't say half the things you were saying. But look, I enjoyed when he started playing afterwards. How good was that?
That was just unbelievable.
And I can tell he really enjoyed it. He didn't want to leave.
Yeah. He was meant to be somewhere that night.
Yeah,
he had another
his driver
event.
or his minder or his manager, whatever he was.
It was the tour manager.
He goes, we got to go. And he goes, no, I'm having a good time. I want another shot at Tsipro.
Yeah.
I want to play another song. And he was playing music for us.
Yeah.
It's a legend of Greek Bouzouki, Greek music, playing Bouzouki in our house. He didn't want to leave, enjoying our company.
And he even said, I don't know what this is, I don't know what this podcasting thing is, but, I'll learn. And by the end of it, mate, he was very comfortable, number one, but also he felt comfortable enough to get the Bouzouki out, us mic him up really quickly and have him do an impromptu performance. This is a person who played with Kazadzidi, Strato Dionisiou, Marinella. These are all absolute legends of Greek music, and he sat in your living room and he played some of these songs. It is unbelievable.
Yeah. I can see how moving that is, you being a muser. So I'm not really a muser.
Yeah.
But even for me, he did move me. And you should say I'm the lover of learning as well.
Yeah.
And look, it was fascinating, and I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. That was good. I saw you got a lot out of it, because afterwards you were mentally drained. I remember as soon as we stopped,
took a lot out of me.
You were fucked, so to speak.
To put it lightly.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. Look, we've had many. Look, Zorba the Greek definitely for me was up there. Look, World War II, I can't pick them. I had all of them touched me in a different way.
You're right. I mean, all of those episodes, brought something out in it. Particularly that Zorba episode as well.
Yeah.
To have,
I think it tapped into every episode taps into our emotions.
Yeah.
In a good way.
100%. But to have someone like Vrasida, Professor Vrasidas Karalis from Sydney Uni, who is number one, an expert on Greek film, an expert on film in general, but then to have George Ellis, who is most definitely an expert on Mikis Theodorakis and his music. There's probably no one better in the world who knows his catalogue and the way his mind worked than George Ellis.
Yeah.
And we had both of them sitting there talking about the book, the film, and the music.
Yeah, and the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Unbelievable.
what about the way they described the Zorba the dance? It was like a very slow pace, but ends up in this orgasmic freight train.
Yeah.
That's how Greeks are like.
Yeah.
We're nice and calm, or sudden.
We have orgasms.
We have orgasms. We're like a freight train. Get out of our way.
Oh dear. Yeah, look, you're right though. It's hard to pick one episode. The only reason why I picked that Thanasi episode was because I grew up listening to music like that.
Yeah.
You know, being picked up by my papu, you know, from school, and taking my out of work directly after school.
Yeah.
And he would always have these cassettes on in the car, listening to this music.
Yeah.
And it was him playing it, and all of a sudden here he is in front of us on our show.
Yeah.
You just, you know, the mind boggles to think that we were in such a blessed position.
Yeah, definitely. No, look, that's a great analogy, mate. Fantastic.
Oh, one of the lambs has come off. Beautiful.
Fantastic.
So it's about to be butchered.
Yeah, it's going to get hacked.
We're getting the thumbs up all around.
You know what I like about this place? What? There's not one fork in sight.
Yes, everything's by hand.
Missing with fingers. Everyone's holding a drink. There's no tables and chairs. No one's sitting down. We're all hanging around.
What happens if the meat falls? Is there a 5-second rule? Have a seat there, mate. Let's turn the microphone on. What's your name again, mate?
My name's Sandy.
G'day, Sandy.
Sandy Konstantinos. Great day to be here. Everything's happening here. I think anyone who isn't here is missing out. The atmosphere, the weather's great. I think God's given us a fantastic day today.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And it's absolutely great to have Ouzo Talk here today with us.
Thank you so much, mate.
Magnificent as always.
Fantastic.
But yeah, magnificent.
Where's your background from?
So my background, I'm from Simi.
Okay.
Dodekanisa, right?
Yeah.
So I've been sort of in the Greek community for quite a while now. Mm-hmm. I've been performing in the Greek community for quite a while.
Really? What?
Yeah, as vocalist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very
so
good. In the band,
I performed. I actually performed with the archdiocese for the archdiocese in Sydney Town Hall.
Mm-hmm. As part of the choir?
Part of March 25th this year. Mm-hmm. I performed at the Sydney Town Hall with a 120-piece orchestra.
Is that the Hellenic Choir of Australia?
Yeah, that was for the Hellenic Choir. Yeah,
beautiful.
In archdiocese choir and all that sort of stuff.
Sorry,
yeah, so
are you a singer? How did you?
I'm a vocalist. Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm a vocalist. I've been performing for 20 years off and on.
Good on you. And you're performing hymns?
I was performing some operatic pieces from Themis Mexis, who's a great composer of the Greek community in Sydney, and also from Rhodes.
Can you give us a few bars, or?
You know what? It's funny you should say that, but
it's fantastic.
Οι πέτρες του ράγισαν απ' τον πόνο.
Wow.
there you go. That was just
brilliant.
just something really short. And
Okay,
sweet,
let
guys,
me ask you something silly.
Someone from the crowd we just handpicked, come over, sit down, look at that.
Let me ask you something silly because that reminds me of a little bit of the chanting that we hear in the church.
Right.
Do you do any of that?
So my grandfather was a Byzantium chanter.
Yeah, right.
And a teacher of Byzantium, Psalter in Simi in Dodecanisa, right? So obviously, when they say the lemon doesn't fall too far from the lemon tree, well, you can pretty much say I get it from my grandfather. My dad was a singer. My daughter was in top 3 in X Factor in Australia.
Kidding? What was her name?
Sophia Constantopoulos. She was part of 3 Wishes in X Factor. So
top 3 in X Factor.
Yeah, top 3 in X Factor. It was quite a while ago with Johnny Ruffo and all the clan, So
fantastic.
I mean, look, the boys here that are performing today are absolutely brilliant. A great band, good music.
They are very good.
Look, it's a good vibe, and you guys being here, I think, just accelerates that thing to show the people outside that hey, we're on a good thing here. The Greek community is connecting. Friends, it happens every year, and it's always successful. There's never a down thing to this,
And why would there be? Honestly,
the weather, the food, everyone having a go at turning the lamb on the spit.
Well, let's talk about that for a second because we haven't mentioned it.
Yeah.
All of these lambs, Nick, they're being turned by hand the way it was done in the Horiot, years ago.
They didn't have 12-volt. They didn't have 12-volt power, right? And then you got these poor buggers here turning them for 5-6 hours. But then they obviously turn around. Oh, can you come and give us a hand? Can you turn it for a little while? I think it's just the tradition.
It is.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what I love. It's the tradition coming back again, and they're all youngish kids doing it all. It's not the elderly doing it. So the next generation of kids, they're going to be doing these sort of bunny-moody moving forward.
For sure.
Love it. Fantastic. So these bits of lamb, I think, were organised by what's his name, the guy from Tripoli, Bill Nicholas.
Bill Nicholas. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So he's done them in the traditional Tripoli way.
Correct. Yeah. So you've got pretty much the roosters and everything. Everything's pretty well done. Like even the octopus is laid up against the fence there.
Yeah.
And what the octopus, so they obviously smother it with pepper to get the flies away.
Yeah.
And then once it's dried out with the sun, then we'll put them on the scutter.
You know what's interesting now that I think about it? When you look around this yard here, it's taking you to different parts of Greece. So if you look at the octopus, that looks a lot like Galimno, for example.
100%.
In the corner there, we've got the Adichristo. That's Crete. Then you've got the lamb here. I mean that could be many different areas, but it reminds you primarily of sort of mainland Greece, doesn't
it? And we've got a pig on the spit out the front.
Yes.
Correct.
And we've got a goat. Is there a goat somewhere?
There's a goat here as well.
Yeah, there's a goat there, over there, and then you've got the Godosuli at the front with the liver and the intestines.
Oh, the kokoretsi.
Yeah, the kokoretsi, right?
Wow. How good was that?
So, it's everything is. I think it brings all the islands together.
Absolutely.
And it gives you a little bit of just a spectrum of what everyone offers. From all different islands.
Let me ask a question because Nick, you had your first bit of kokoretsi just earlier. I've been spruiking the positives of this particular piece of culinary exquisiteness. What did you think of it?
Nick, be honest.
I asked the guy.
You got to be honest.
I said, "Do not tell me what's in it," and I tasted it, and it was really good.
It's fantastic.
See? It was fantastic.
So do you know what's in it?
No, I don't want to know. I know.
Can I explain to you what's in it?
You might as well.
I'm going to give it to you straight, right? So there's a bit of everything in it. There's liver, intestines, kidneys,
what
hearts,
and lamb. Right? It's wrapped around intestines, nicely tight and everything, and just sits over charcoal.
Yeah.
But it's magnificent. And obviously you've tasted it, you've enjoyed it, correct?
Definitely.
Yeah.
The herbs that we put on it, the lemon juice, oregano, the char grill of a barbecue.
It's all in the cleaning.
It tastes good.
It is.
It is all in the cleaning because if you don't clean the adero, the intestine,
100%.
and turn it inside out.
He spent hours cleaning it to actually cook it.
Were you here last night when they were doing all that?
I wasn't here, no.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, look, the whole secret to that is turning it inside out, washing it with lemon or vinegar in some instances. If you don't do that, you get that sort of vaguely poop shoot type of type of flavour. But you didn't get any of that. Well, I certainly didn't
it
at all.
tasted great, like a typical char grill piece of barbecue meat.
Yep, that was
Had a
absolutely
unique
masterful.
taste.
It was.
It genuinely was.
Fantastic.
And it's funny you say that, because you said there was heart and liver and all that. It didn't taste like, if you taste lamb, it tastes like lamb. This had different flavours and tastes
Actually,
to it.
my daughter says it blatantly. She goes, barnyard.
Yeah.
Doesn't taste like barnyard, Dad.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I said,
She's
it
right.
didn't taste like barnyard.
She's right.
Because of the herbs and spices they're putting in it, you don't get that horrible taste of, barnyard in it, and it's quite nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
No, look, I'm definitely up for it.
Yeah.
I'm a traditionally meat eater, but I'm slowly turning. Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, I guess I'm old enough to turn a blind eye of what I've eaten.
There's nothing like a bit of offal, mate.
Yeah, that's it.
I think I've just been mentally scarred as a kid. We come Easter with a batzar and all that sort of
but
stuff.
you know what? I think that's pretty much the simple. When I was in Thessaloniki, very long ago, someone said to me, "Let's go for batzar," and this is the guy that lives in Thessaloniki. We went to have batzar, and I didn't really like it. It was like 4 a.m. in the morning. I didn't really like it.
Had you come from the Buzukia?
I did. Right, it was
usually
like 4
after
a.m.
that, after that, it tastes
absolutely
awesome.
hammered, right? And the guy said to me, he goes, mate, do you like this? And I said, I'll go, not really. He goes, have you had this before? He goes, no, I haven't had it. And he lives in Thessaloniki.
Yeah.
And I said, why did you bring me here? He goes, because I thought you wanted batzar. And I thought, well, it wasn't exactly what I expected, But in saying that, a couple of nights after that, after drinking a little bit more, batzar didn't taste too bad.
And you probably found yourself thinking, actually, that would go down pretty well right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So here in Australia, we go to McDonald's for a hangover cure, but here we go for batzar.
Correct, yeah, exactly.
Actually, it's probably important to mention for those who maybe don't know what batzar is. It's basically tripe soup.
It is.
Well,
that's what it is. Tripe soup, yeah.
Because there's mahiritza as well, which is slightly different.
Completely different.
The batzar is far more gelatinous.
The tripe is the actual stomach lining.
Correct.
And everything, so it's a different taste.
Yeah,
totally.
Mate, after 1,000 beers and a few bottles of vodka at the Buzukia,
yeah, exactly right.
It's bound to taste good.
So
exactly
the lining
right.
of the stomach realigns your stomach. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what it's all about. Yeah, I'd say that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Bravo.
Well, mate, thank you very much for joining
us.
us.
Thank you very much for having me on,
mate.
guys. I really appreciate it. It was fantastic.
Well, we'll see you around while we're
100%. All the best to you guys, and God bless you all.
Thank you, mate.
Nasa kala, mate. Good on
Good
you.
to see you.
We'll have a drink later.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Good stuff.
Bye.
How good's that, Nick?
Mate,
Mate, there's
fantastic.
people, there's such great people here today.
Friendly people just come in. Who would it? Just a singer, choir singer.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their talent.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And we even got a few bars. How good was it?
Yeah, fantastic.
Well, look, let's go back to what we were talking about earlier. I mean, let's talk about some of the interviews. Mm-hmm. Which interview has stood out for you the most? Maybe I'll start off this time because I just feel as though the discussion with... Well, let's talk about two for me. Mm-hmm. The discussion with Angelo Tsaroukas. One of the funniest discussions I think I've ever had with someone. And it just happened so naturally. We'd met probably, 20 minutes before we started recording. We instantly felt the connection. And before long, we were pissing ourselves laughing and drinking. We had ouzo, we had sipuro, we had beer. It was just insane, wasn't it?
It was. I can't believe you gave him VB to drink. You pulled that out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Good old traditional Australian beer we had in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Very hoppy. And he drank it. Didn't flinch.
He thought it was all right.
Yeah, he did. But look, I can't agree with you more. It was one of the funniest episodes or funniest times I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
This guy is so... He said one word and we just start laughing.
Yeah.
So, okay, and we just start laughing. I don't know why. That's how he got us at the end.
And the gold of finding out that he was a travel agent, leading into that discussion about Olympic Airways, the original Olympic Airways, that is.
Yeah.
The video that we put up on YouTube about that, as we speak, I think is about to crack 13,000 views, just by itself.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to do an episode on Olympic, don't we?
I think we have to. So as soon as that YouTube clip came out, they had all the stories. And everyone had, I remember when I was an Olympic, I did this and this happened. Yeah, definitely.
Actually, you're right. That was the big thing. Everyone started sending us their stories.
Yeah. No, he was fantastic. Look, I can't agree with you more. Andriotakis is a legend.
Yeah.
And even afterwards, we had a coffee afterwards. It was like we should have just kept on recording.
Yeah, we should have.
He's just naturally like that. That's how he naturally talks.
Absolutely.
And then we went out one night as well with him. We had a couple of cigars, I think, a couple of wines.
Yep.
He's just a naturally funny guy, and I just couldn't stop laughing. Even though I just looked at him, I just started laughing.
Yeah, and we had that connection with him as well. He invited us into the green room before his performance in Sydney.
That's right.
So in the green room, before this huge performance.
Yeah.
There's Angelo sitting there on his phone, just trying to relax, and then there's us two clowns sitting there doing Instagram posts and whatever, saying, "Look where we fucking ended up."
Yeah, classic.
Oh dear, it was good fun.
Yeah, definitely. It was very touching as well. Maybe a question for you: who were you in most awe of when you saw them? So when you first saw them, you think, "Wow, oh my God, I can't believe this is."
That's a good question, because I think. It's hard because, people like Mary Koustas and George Kapiniaris, I grew up watching. So there was the star factor there, that it was like, oh my God, these are the people that I grew up watching, and that that they're sitting here with us now and we're having a discussion. There's that side of it, but then there's also Eleni Zahos, for example, the humanitarian nurse who what an unbelievable story for her to be putting herself in harm's way often and paying for the privilege. What an inspirational story that is,
She told a good story. It felt like we're in her shoes. It felt like we were there in Ukraine with her.
Yeah.
The way she told the story, like, holy shit, what's behind the corner here? Like, it felt like we're there. Yeah. I did feel the anxiety and anxiousness and adrenaline as she told the story. Yeah, good call.
Absolutely. And look, so, Eleni was a huge one for me personally, but also more recently, Mark Burris. Mark was probably one of the most inspiring people that we've had on the show, as far as I'm concerned. And the reason why is because he made us think about a lot of things, think about the way we approach a lot of things in our life, the way we approach our work, the way we approach business, the way we approach this podcast. It was just an inspiring discussion. So, I've always been in awe of Mark Burris, and even more so after that episode. I think you probably felt the same way.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it was. As soon as I first saw him walk down the corridor, I thought, holy crap, this is Mark Burris. The guy from, was it The Apprentice, where he kept on firing everyone? Which, mind you, I wanted him to fire you in our episode, but we never got around to it.
Why didn't you remember that, mate?
I know, I had it written down. I said, Mark, please fire Tom, come on. But I forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
That conversation just went on a different angle. That's it. It's very organic, We try to plan what we want to say, but we never get there, do we?
No, we don't. We don't, because better things just pop up in the course of conversation, and that's part of the reason why we do what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. Because the second that you sit down and start having these conversations, there's gold coming from somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah. Sometimes it's better not to prep.
Yeah, that's
go
right.
along with it. Yeah. But look, he was very inspirational. Yeah. Successful human, came in, sat down, and it didn't take long. He was like one of the boys.
Yep.
We could have a normal conversation. It felt like he belonged with us in the house and so forth. It felt like we had that connection. And with most of our guests as well. But he was probably the most inspirational I've had as well. Like you said, I learned a lot from him. What he said, what he's done, some of his philosophies as well. Yeah, definitely. And look, but I see this as well. He's quite influential with the way I approach life and the way I think now as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And can't forget Nick Andriotakis as well. He's another one. Just his passion for what he does in the Greek community and how he goes about it as well. He's got a lot of philosophical sayings. I love all that shit.
Yeah. Well, I think the key thing is that you need the Nick Andriotakises of the world. I mean, you need everyone here plays some kind of role in this community. And this is looking around here, it's kind of a who's who of the Greek Australian community here in Sydney. Everyone plays their role here. For Nick, he brings people together like this. He's been able to provide a lot of value in terms of telling his stories to us and telling other people's stories, including during the World War II episode. We heard the stories about Reginald Saunders, for example, one of the first Indigenous Australians to serve in the Australian Army. Nick's yelling in the corner there. he's standing over the Anticristo.
It's the best.
Oh dear. It's just like a family barbecue, isn't it?
Exactly. It's so Cretan.
Yeah.
We literally walked in, we had that tray with shots of Sikudia, and he wouldn't let us walk past till we had one.
Yeah.
Pupas,
Mate, I was half expecting him to have the padelona on today, the
beads.
The beads on his head, the tadakria what was it called? We'll ask him later.
Yeah, definitely. We'll grab him.
I was half expecting him to show up like that.
Yeah, classic. I can't stop looking at these lamb on the spits, and I want to get. Is it Bill? Is he the guy from Tripoli?
Yeah, I think so. Well, we're going to start getting some people in to talk about some of these meats because we've tried some of it. But I dare say we're going to try a little bit more of it as as the afternoon rolls on. But which one do you want to try first?
Yeah, I think we've tried most of it. I just haven't tried the lamb yet. Or we got the chicken. Did you say they're roosters or?
They're roosters.
They're roosters.
They're roosters. They're on the Anticristo.
Wow. Okay. Look, it's been a fantastic new time, and there's no way I would have thought we would have ended up here doing what we're doing. And it's inspirational meeting. There's so many people out there, and there's so many successful Greeks.
Yeah.
That's what really is inspiring. They've done so many great things in the community, and there's all these little pockets of community things that happen that we're just starting to find out about.
Yeah.
And it's good to see the next generation of kids coming through learning. Now these kids are learning the traditions of doing a lamb on the spit without a motor.
Yeah. Is this something that you grew up doing as well? I think I remember you saying that you used to turn the lamb. You're one of the kids sort of assigned to it.
Sort of. Yeah, okay. So it was a bit of a story there. So I ended up in Greece, and we ended up in a Zakinful. So me and my mates, Petro and Angela, I might have mentioned them before. And when you get off the boat, they have these signs up, Vomatia, that sort of stuff. So we went, one guy, and he was actually a copper. And he invited us back to his house. So we had the whole top floor of his house. And that night he had a lamb on the spit. And he goes, I'm doing it for you guys, you're my guests. And literally he said the only catch is you've got to turn it by hand.
Yeah.
And this thing was fucking massive. It was like a horse. It was huge. Again, Arni. And he goes, yeah, Arni. So we sat there for hours turning it. But that was our tradition. And that was it. Not a fork in sight. Used your fingers, you had to peel the betzer off the top of it.
Yeah.
You didn't want to waste anything as well, but that was, amazing. Just to get the feeling of doing it. You got sore in one arm, you had to rotate arms. Yeah. And there's a lot of mental patience to do what they're doing.
Man, I couldn't do it, let me tell you. sit over the top of that, mate, forget it.
Well, that's why they've got the young kids in there at the moment. Or they've had a shift change now. There's a guy there in a beard and glasses smoking a cigar.
Well, I was just going to say that a couple of these blokes in the middle here, they've got the right idea. They're sitting there, they've got the beer in hand, and they've got the cigar going.
Actually, they've stopped turning. What's going on there?
Yeah, boys, you got to keep going there.
Keep on going, boys. We're going to burn one side of it.
Oh, I love it.
No, it's fantastic, and the Cretan thing down there as well.
Yeah.
Well, here's the octopus guy. Look at that.
How good's that?
That's like 2 foot, 3 foot of octopus legs.
Yeah, the tentacles.
Unbelievable. Classic. Yeah, the Cretan thing in the corner, it's near a wooden fence. I was a bit concerned initially, but they got things under control.
But with good reason, because it actually did kind of start creeping up the fence for a second there.
Yeah, but they've done well. They've grabbed a bottle of water. They've got a bucket of water as well.
Yeah.
Let's try and grab. Is it Bill? Sit down, mate. We've got a seat for you.
We're going to start bringing in people who are actually doing the barbecue now. So put your headphones on there.
My
son's coming as well.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's fine. The more the merrier.
Yeah,
put those on and just come in a little bit closer to the microphone.
Okay,
yeah.
Before we get started, just lean in and tell everyone what your name is.
My name is Bill Trohanus. Yes.
Bill.
Bravo, Bill. And you're representing the Tripoli community.
Yes.
And you've got these amazing lamb on the spits here.
That's right.
We talked about it before. So you had a bit of a story about the first one with the bit of wood that you had there.
Yes.
You want to tell us the tradition again of where it came from?
My dad, when he came on the Patrice in 1960.
On the Patrice?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, from Tripoli.
Yeah.
So, there is a tradition in Tripoli of putting lamb in the spit.
Sure.
They're very proud of that.
Yep.
And then the Easter time in Tripoli, the Lord Mayor on Easter Sunday, he puts 100 lamb on the spit in the platea, and he shouts everybody. So it's a big tradition.
Wow.
So anyway, cut a long story short, my dad in 1960, the first thing he did was make a spit.
Wow.
So he made a timber spit, and that was it.
Is it timber or what type of wood is it?
It's Oregon.
Oregon wood.
Yeah, Oregon wood.
So why isn't it burning?
I can't answer that. I didn't ask my dad though.
Because you told me that bit of wood that you had was made in 1962.
62, yes. Right.
And it's served so many lambs on the spit. And it's still in perfect condition. It's not charred.
It looks brand new.
It does.
Here's a blast from the past. I'll get to you in a second.
Don't go too far. Oh dear.
So you've provided the 4 lambs on the spit. So do you want to tell us how you made them? So I can see there's herbs and spices on the outside of it.
Just going back a bit.
Sure.
At Easter time. So every Saturday, I'd go to the butcher with Dad. Saturday afternoon and prepare the lamb and take it home and prepare the lamb and marinate it and wrap it with a Sidonia, wet the Sidonia, and so it'll evaporate and keep cool, and put plenty of salt on it, and cook it on Sunday morning, because Dad would start the fire. He didn't want to muck around on the Sunday morning. I used to look at my dad from the age of 10, 11 doing that, and that's my son Paul Nicholas.
Hey mate.
Welcome, mate.
He's got a beer for Dad.
So I used to watch my dad do that. Put the lamb and marinate it, and I said, God, one day I've got to do that.
Wow. So
how am I going to do that?
Did you want to learn?
Huh?
What, did you want to learn to do it?
I was more scared about doing it.
Really?
And
what a
I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to stuff up.
Yeah.
So
because there is a lot of skill associated with it.
look,
Timing.
we did the first one, and my dad passed away, and I said, we've got to keep the tradition going. But then we got rid of the timber spit, and we got the mechanical. We got the mechanical, we marinated. So look, with lamb you don't need much. You just need some salt, pepper, oregano. That's what there's a lot of taste in the lamb from the fat. So it doesn't need a lot of work.
Beautiful.
So when we marinated the day before with salt, pepper, oregano, and put some wine on it, then we wet the sheep, wrap it with a sheep, and then evaporation helps keep it cool overnight, and we put it on in the fire in the morning.
Put it on.
Fantastic.
So I've seen some traditions. I think it's an Islander thing. They put hard blocks of cheese in the belly. They put garlic. They put sort of squeezed lemon and chuck lemon in the belly and then sew it up. Then they pierce it.
We put garlic in the thighs, and in the tummy. But lamb's got its own flavour. So you don't need to add too many. You don't need to add too many things to it.
I think
if you put cheese in it,
we've mentioned this before in some episodes. When you have quality meat, you don't need to do anything with it.
That's right.
It's like fish. When you've got quality, if you see a fish and there's so much crap on it, you mean it's a shit quality fish. You're trying to mask it with flavours. It makes sense.
Well, when you go to my parts, and again we've had this discussion previously, like my Pethero absolutely swears by the notion that it's just salt, it's just pepper, and pretty much that's it. you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They look funny at us when we say, oh yeah, we put a little bit of olive oil in. It's like, really? You do? Isn't the lamb fatty enough, sort of thing? Absolutely. It's just interesting to see how different parts of Greece do it so differently. The one constant though is that it's awesome no matter how you do it.
Look, with lamb and pork, you don't have to do anything. As soon as you start adding olive oil, it takes away from the crispiness of the outside. Especially with pork. There's no point trying to put lemon because it's a citrus and it's got sugar in it. It's very hard to crystallise the outside of it. So the natural taste of pork and lamb, it's just salt and pepper, some garlic in the bouillon, and some oregano. That's all it needs.
Beautiful. So I've noticed you've been doing a few techniques behind us. You put some liquid on the wood. Is that oil?
Yeah, just so the timber won't burn out.
Perfect. Okay.
So we put a bit of oil.
So how do you get the timber not to burn though? That's the bit
I really don't know. It just
doesn't burn.
It just doesn't burn. Yeah, it's amazing.
Wow.
It's God's gift, I think.
The ones closest to us look like bamboo. Is that bamboo by any chance or not?
No, they're all
Oregon timber.
Oregon timber. Yeah.
Far out.
So that's the first one that Dad did was Oregon, and then
from 1962.
And then You know the story. Nick. I told Nick about it.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I met Nick at a wine tasting. Believe it or not.
No. Nick at a wine tasting?
You've got to tell us those stories again because
You wanted to? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So we were about 8-10 years ago. We were at a wine tasting.
Yeah.
Greek wine tasting.
Sure.
And we started talking about a few wines, and I was telling him how in Greece at Easter time the Lord Mayor in Tripoli puts 100 lamb on the spit and he cooks it, and Nick got just excited when he heard about the lambs on the spit. And then I told him I've got my old dad's original spit. Oh, I said, we got to use it. Then we used it once and said, look, can we make 7 of them? Then I got a friend of mine, a carpenter. I said, mate, can you make 7 of these so we can?
Wow.
And that's how.
Fantastic.
Did the carpenter follow the design exactly?
Absolutely, exactly. The size, everything.
Wow.
Because you've got to have it a certain distance. The lamb, when you put it on the spit, it's got to be a certain distance in from the end, so you don't cook as well.
And I've noticed you've been bashing it with a hammer.
Yeah, that's the adjustment, automatic adjustment. That's a mechanical adjustment.
The height adjustment.
Yes, height adjustment.
Classic. Is that because the charcoal is getting...
No, we wanted to cook a bit more. Instead of throwing more coal on, we just lower it.
Fantastic. Is that good for innovation, Tom?
Absolutely.
Oh, amazing.
It's taking full advantage of the coals.
See, only a Greek could think of that. You're thinking, okay, the coals are dropping off. Do you add more coals? No, just smash it and get it lower to the coals.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Ingenious.
And look, there's a lot of debate about when people think that it's ready. The way I understand is that when all the bits start pulling away from each other in the joints. Is that generally how you measure
that's
it?
one sign. And the way Dad taught me was that when it starts dripping,
Yes.
it's starting to cook. That means all the fats are cooking and it's dripping. When it stops dripping, that means it's cooked. That means all the fats are cooked and it's ready to come out. Yeah. So it normally takes about 4 hours, 5 hours, depending on...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 4 to 5 hours. So we don't have hoods over them. We don't cover it. We want to smell. You want to smell the lamb when it's cooking. I mean, you can put a hood over it and get those ones, stainless steel ones with a hood over it, and you close it.
And get that smoky feel.
But then you don't see it. You just see a stainless steel hood over it.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see the lamb turning.
That's
and you
half
want the
the
smoke
appeal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is half the
Someone
appeal.
just stole your beer.
You've got to be able to see it and smell it.
Smell it, absolutely.
I always hated the idea because my papa, for Easter, he would always have this anxiety that, we've got to eat at this particular time.
Yes.
So he'd put the agni on at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., whatever it was. By the time everyone got there, it was already done.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, we haven't even seen it.
Yeah, I'm not.
You know
Did he have a hood over it, did he?
No, well, he by the time we'd get there, it was ready.
Really, yeah.
It was ready by that point. He'd taken it off. You'd already butchered it. It's ready to go. You want to be able to see it, don't you?
Yeah, you want to, and also the smell.
Yeah.
The smell.
Definitely.
Smell.
It's all the senses. It's like we're talking about when we drink wine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be able to pick things off it. You want to be,
slice
all
a bit.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Well, Bill, thanks very much.
No, thank you. Yeah,
That was awesome.
I must congratulate you guys. I listened to a lot of your podcasts, and it's
Thank you.
amazing. And instead of driving, listening to rubbish on the news, I listen to you guys. It makes my day.
You listen to us clowns.
Yeah, no, you guys do a great job. And,
Good on you.
I'm very
Thank you
proud
so
of you
much.
guys. And
Yeah,
thank you for having
beautiful.
us.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Yeah, how good was that?
That was great. We're learning.
Yeah, it is. So that's the Tripoli tradition. You said the same thing. You don't add much stuff to it. If you got good quality meat, you don't need to add anything to it.
That seems to be the common thread here. Like if you've got good ingredients, if you've got good stuff, you don't need to add too much to it.
No.
Oh, look out! Here we go. We've got someone else here. So this is.
Got another Asterashes here.
I love it. He's got the beer in his hand.
We've got Bill's son here.
Young Paul Nicholas.
Yeah,
So you're named after your two grandfathers, I'm told.
that's right. Yeah, the two brothers, Paul and Nicholas as well. So I've got two older sisters. The funniest thing is, both my yayades were called Christina. So the first one was easy. They called her Christina, so there were no arguments. Then they had another girl, and they called her Helena. And then it was me. I guess they knew I was going to be the last child, so they thought we'll just call them. Why call them after one, and we can call them after both. So I got blessed with being called Paul, Nicholas. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And is Paul your dad's side or your mum's side?
Paul's dad's dad, and Nicholas is
Your
mum's side. Yeah,
Are you Nikolaos?
Apostolis Nicholas. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Very good.
In English, it gets translated to Paul, Paulie, Paul Nick, Paul Nicholas, P&T, my initials, whatever floats. So,
How cool is that?
Yeah, so that's it. So.
Good stuff.
Normally, it's funny when I introduce myself. They'll either get the first or the second half. So I'll say Paul Nicholas, and they'll be like, "Oh, Nicholas, I'm a Nick too." So then I'll be like, "Yeah." I'll just play along with it.
Or do they think that Nicholas is your surname?
I haven't got that one yet, but
Okay.
yeah, they, like I said, like normally they just hear the end of it, so they'll think it's Nicholas, and
Well, Nick's a great name. And
Yeah.
you don't want to scream out Nick here because I reckon half the people will turn around.
Absolutely.
If you said Nick or George, everyone would look around.
Yeah, for sure. You wouldn't know where to
Maybe
look.
we should do it. Hang on. Nick!
George.
No, you got to say, you know what? You got to say Theo. If you say Theo, hey Theo, they're all turn around. We used to do that at, remember the Sydney Olympic Games?
Yeah.
Back then we used to scream out Theo, and then 100 heads would turn around. Because my phone knows it.
So you're following Dad today. You're helping him out with the lamb and all that sort of stuff. How's it been today so far?
It's been awesome. Yeah, we got here about I think it was around 8 o'clock. We started the big fire over there on the left. And then slowly, after about 40 minutes or so, there was a big fire already. So we just spread them out one by one. As you can probably hear
That's your dad.
the dad hammering some
Lowering the lamb down.
Lowering the lamb, just to give it that crisp for the last half hour.
Beautiful.
But basically, just spread the fire out over the 4 spits. And then put them on one by one. Three lambs, one goat.
Yeah.
And
So how do you feel? You're going to be carrying on this tradition now?
Well, that was what I was going to ask, because your dad said he had anxiety when you took over from his dad.
Yeah.
What's going to happen when it's your turn?
Yeah, I've got a similar feeling now, to be honest with you. I guess a lot of history. I guess it's something that I'm passionate about as well. So I think the time will come slowly. It's funny, every year at Easter time, myself and my cousins do more and more, and then I think it got to the point this year where Dad actually just took a back seat and said, "All right, I'm going to sit back, have a glass of Ouzo, and I'll let you guys take the reins." And we passed the test this year, so.
Well, it sounds like the torch has been passed now.
It's either been passed or it's
in the process.
It's passing. Yeah, so
sounds like a great pathway system, Tom.
Absolutely.
As we say in rugby league, great pathway system.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
fantastic.
Yeah, and then obviously Papu, that first spit that you can see there, that's the original one that Papu made all those years ago when he moved to Australia. It says it was one of the first things he did. He made that spit.
Priorities, right?
Priorities, and then it sat, I think, in the cellar for years. I always used to look at it, and Dad would say that was Papu's. I was only a few years old when he passed, so I never actually got to see him in action with it. And for years, it sat in the cellar, and just thought it would collect dust and spider webs. And then a few years ago, he had the idea with Nick that Dad told him how he had the spit sitting there, and they said, "Oh, why don't we actually make use of it?" So then, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, it came out. That was Papu's one, the first one, you can see there. And then the following year, he got one of his friends to make a few more, and that's why you can see all of them there now. And the irony is, though, Papu's one hasn't had any maintenance in 60 years. But the other ones, I think it was last year or the year before, came off the handle and they had to do running repairs. So it's funny that all those years ago, it's still past the test of time. And the newer ones.
Look at that, the old one. It's 2022 and it's still feeding people.
Crazy, yeah, unbelievable.
Something your Papu did when he first came out here is still feeding people today.
That's right.
It is unbelievable.
So who would have thought that was going to feed his grandkids?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
And now you're going to take over. It might feed your grandkids or your great-grandkids.
Yeah, so it's a lot of history and emotion and pride in it too. I can I send photos to my friends, and everyone they just freak out. They've only heard stories of their ancestors, and then to see it in person like that, it's like wow.
Beautiful.
Very unique. So I'm very lucky. Had
Good stuff.
parents in, and hopefully one day I can pass that on to my kids.
Good on you, man. I see you're a Steelers fan.
The funny thing is, I've been wearing this for the last 5 years. When I last went to Greece 5 years ago, I bought it. And then I wore it for the first year, and then the second and the third, and now every time I come here,
it's a tradition.
Like I can't come here and not wear it. It's good. Yeah,
Good stuff, mate.
Yeah.
Well,
Phenomenal, mate.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. And,
thanks for those insights.
No worries, and thanks for all your talks that you've done as well, and I'll be sure to keep following you guys and listen to you.
Thanks, mate. And thanks for the good rap you gave us earlier about the World War II episode and all that.
No, that was awesome. Loved it. Yeah, it was very inspirational, and Dad's actually sent it to me. I think the first thing I saw when I woke up on Orchid Day, I see this video coming through, and I thought, it's another one of those videos that he's sending out. And then I actually sat there and watched it, and I thought, this is actually really nice. It made me proud to be Greek, and I sent it to all my friends and that, and it was great. Yeah, beautiful. It's good to have you guys as well carrying on the tradition as well.
Thank you, mate.
You guys should be very proud as well, and something we should hold on to.
Thank you, mate. Good stuff.
Good on you, mate. Well, get back to the land. We don't want you to burn it.
Exactly. We're not moving as quick as I was with the other guy that's there now. So we're going to sort it out.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That is so great. Yes, sir.
Another fantastic interview there, mate. Another proud Greek and someone passing on the tradition, or he's now the current custodian of the tradition that his dad and his papu had.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see that he's got the same sort of anxiety that Bill was talking about just before, about taking over.
Exactly. It's probably a good thing. It means he's passionate, he's committed, he wants to do the right thing. And how good is the tradition? 1962.
Unbelievable.
And it's still going. That spit is still going to carry on to the next generation through Paul Nicholas's kids.
And it's wooden. It's made of wood, and it's still here.
I thought wood burnt when you put it over fire.
Yeah. So did I.
Mysterio Brahma.
As your dad would say, huh?
Yeah, Mysterio Brahma is my dad would say. Can't work that out.
Oh, dear. Well, we're looking for Alexakis now. We've got to find out what's happened with this octopus. What do you reckon?
Here he is.
Here he is.
You got to turn up with a beer. Mr. Alexakis, put your headphones on.
Peter Alexakis, welcome to Ouzo Talk.
How are you?
I'm really well, thank you.
You look like you're...
Great to see you guys. Thank you for...
Did I just relieve you from the land? Because it looked like you wanted to get out of there.
Look, my right hand was working a bit hard there. But it's nothing that's uncommon for me.
Mm-hmm. We had a really good chat before about the octopus and how you prepped it and how you bash it and all that sort of stuff. Tell us the procedure, because we did try a bit of it before. It was sensational.
Essentially, the octopus from the ocean is really quite an angry beast, and it's full of muscle. There's no bone, there's nothing else there. It's just 100% muscle. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, when
it's a bit like Tom.
Yeah, I can see he's been working it out.
Yeah, Tom's just all muscle.
All muscle. Yeah, I wish.
It needs to undergo a tenderising process, and so the first part of the process is to beat the octopus. We actually beat it on a slab of marble that's come from Greece, care of Nick Bourdaniotis from Euro Marble in Marrickville.
Yep.
So it's Pendeli marble, and we have a big slab, and we slap it on the marble. 4.5 kilos of weight, being slapped probably 40 to 50 times.
And it's important to note as well that Pentelic marble is the same marble that the Parthenon is made of.
Absolutely. So we feel that by slapping it on the Penteli marble, it gives a little bit of authenticity to the Greek octopus that we're actually serving today.
So you actually, 40 or 50 times you slap it?
40 to 50 times, average.
And what's the weight of them? Because they look quite big.
They're big ones.
4.5 kilos to 5 kilos each one.
Wow.
I'd hate to tangle with one of these guys in the ocean.
So you catch them yourself?
I'd hate to tangle with them.
You'd hate.
So fortunately we have the Natara seafood from Cronulla
Who do the tangling?
who will do the
hunting.
purchasing, or they hunt, purchase, and then they acquire it for us. So we slap the octopus on the marble. Rough guide. I mean, you can slap it as hard as you want or as little as you want, but the turning point is when the octopus starts to saponify. You actually get like a soapy substance coming off the...
There's a Greek word for you.
Yes. So when it starts to froth up, that's when you know it's ready. And you can throw it on the barbecue then.
Sure.
But we go through a secondary process, which is the hanging and drying of the octopus, which is designed to get rid of any excess moisture while maintaining the flavour. So we intensify the flavour. At the same time, putting it in the heat. And it being a seafood tends to start the degradation process, which further softens and tenderises the tentacles. So that hopefully in about 30 minutes we have the most beautiful tender octopus that anyone has ever had, with a touch of Pendelli marble as to give it a bit of authenticity from a Greek perspective. And it's wonderful to make the donation. It's wonderful to come here for the church and raise money, because it's a great crossroads for the youth, for the old. We chat, we talk. The little guys get to see how the old guys do it. The old guys get to see how the young guys do it. And at the end of the day, it's all the better for the community.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for coming.
No, well, thank you for putting this on.
Great
mate.
insights.
I just want to ask you a question, though, about the tenderizing process. I've seen some people in the past that have used like a wooden paddle, for example, to hit the octopus. Would that make it any better, any worse? I mean, I feel as though if you had it between two surfaces, that could do some damage to the to the meat.
Not at all. It depends on the octopus.
Yeah.
Again, it's hard to actually pick up 5 kilos of meat and slap it repeatedly with tentacles flying and little suckers flying everywhere. So the use of the paddle is not uncommon to me.
Sure.
You tend to use the paddle at the proximal end of the octopus, not the thin end, but the more the head area and the shoulder area. And that's where it comes into its own forte.
There you go. See, there's a reason behind it. I learned something today. How did you actually marinate these particular ones?
Absolutely nothing.
Really?
Yeah. So what I do is we slap the octopus, get the froth happening. Όταν βλέπεις τον αφρό, it's ready to go.
Good stuff.
So then we wipe the afro off, and unfortunately in Australia we're blessed with lots and lots of flies.
We're blessed.
We're blessed with lots and lots of flies, which is not the greatest thing to hang an octopus for 3 hours. So what I do is we put black pepper, the cheapest fine black pepper that you get, not the special peppercorns in the grinder. It's the really ultra fine.
Yep.
And what you do is you splash that on the octopus.
Yep.
You will not see a fly for miles.
Really?
And so, but then people say, okay, well, it's going to be peppery. So absolutely no, because when you go through the drying process, the pepper doesn't saturate or go into the flesh at all. It stays on the surface. And through the barbecuing on these coals, that whole top layer gets burnt off.
Chars off, yeah, you're right.
Chars off. So you have beautiful, beautiful non-fly affected.
And look, I can vouch for this too, because when we tried it, I didn't get an overwhelming taste of pepper. I didn't even notice anything.
It burns off.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have
unbelievable.
noticed it. No, we had more than a couple.
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of handfuls.
And interestingly as well, I've seen in again, there was an episode of Bizarre Foods where Andrew Zimmern went to Kalimno, and what they were doing there was they created these boxes, like these framed boxes with like fly screens around them. They were hanging them in there. I mean, you're saying no.
Seriously? No.
too much work. Just pepper.
Put the pepper. It's never failed me.
Yeah.
There's not a fly gone anywhere near it.
No. He's right.
Everywhere else, but nowhere there.
Oh, we've seen it. We took photos. There was no flies hanging off the back fence.
And it's a warm day today.
Get your cheapest fine ground pepper. They sell it at IGA for a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
You buy one tin or one little, it's that paper with the plastic on top, and it'll last you 10 years. And you just use it solely for the octopus, you'll not have a problem.
There you go. So the message is melt the crap out of it and put cheap pepper on it.
And let it dry for 3 hours.
Melt the crap out of it, get the soap happening, put the pepper on, hang it up, 2 hours later,
Bob's your uncle.
Lose yourself.
Okay, so we got 40, 50 smacks. Hang it up. 2-3 hours. Pepper first, 2-3 hours, and then straight on. And then after you cook, do you add your lemon juice, oregano?
Yeah, that's when you put your oregano on. If you put the oregano on early, oregano has a habit of being a bit bitter.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, so oregano, people who use oregano, at the end, I've got fresh oregano from my garden. Yes. I've got fresh thyme from my garden, as you guys have and it's awesome. And I'll let that one ride.
Wow. There's a secret in there somewhere. Mate, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you so much.
We've learned something.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Did you know how to make that octopus like that?
No, we are so spoiled, me and you.
We really are.
Say how spoiled we are. We've got the finest of foods here.
We really do. We're absolutely spoiled for choice. Look at this. Someone else is here.
The larger than life Nick Bourdaniotis. Take a seat.
Here he is, and he's even wearing an Ouzo Talk hat.
Nick, I told you we'd get you one here.
Καλημέρα σας ρε παιδιά. Ρε παλικάρια, πώς μ' αρέσει αυτό το πέρα του ύφος που γελάει.
We couldn't wait to
and everything's a laugh.
You've been such an inspiration with everyone here. You've been backslapping everyone, you've been high-fiving everyone, you've been telling jokes. I couldn't wait to get you on here.
Life is too short.
It is, mate. You like the life of the party here.
Oh, no, don't say that. No, it's all the attitude you take on this journey of life. And every part of your journey has a chapter. You know,
definitely.
We close one, we open up another.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I'm more interested in what you did in that corner there. So you prepped the lamb for the Cretan-style barbecue, didn't you?
Listen, I'm a Limnian by background, okay? But I can be a Cretan today. So what happens is a good friend of mine, Nick Andriotakis, gone over and bought the Under Christo barbecue setup. He met George, who manufactures these, sent us video clips and YouTubes and Viber clips and everything else and how to do it. I'm a foodie by background. I love making food. I like cooking. I love wine. I love tomato passata. I love everything to do with food. I think that should have been my passion or journey of life, but it didn't. It ended up being marble, but it doesn't matter. Everyone finds a niche and they end up going back. So, so there's a bit of go in that. It's not as easy as what it looks.
Sure.
You know, you've got to split the lamb, you've got to turn it, you've got to butterfly it in a way that a butcher can't do.
Okay.
So you've got to know how to insert the knife and take the meat off the ribs and butterfly it open and spread it open so it cooks evenly. And that's how the Cretans used to do it back on Crete, where they cooked it with the flame, not with the coal. There's a difference.
Okay.
The difference is it needs a fire.
Okay.
So that's why I'm fueling the fire over there all the time.
So it needs to be raging. It's not like when we put we have a barbecue and it's got to settle down a bit.
No, not at all. So the fire needs to be raging, and you need to have the meat and far enough from it not to be burnt, and to keep on turning it, on the rod as you see.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic. And you got there, are they chickens or roosters?
No, if I would have known, I probably wouldn't have got a rooster, because a rooster is more inclined to
it's tougher, isn't it?
It's tougher.
Yeah.
You really need to have a stew.
Yeah. Well, in Kerkira, what we do with the roosters, we do pastizada, which is,
Of course.
that's the thing.
And Limnos is the same.
Yeah, there you go.
Cocora. Talena and they cocora, they put flomari, cocolo mi fromari, me salsa. Anyway, we're going to have a go.
Okay.
I'm not going to guarantee anything to anyone. I'm just going to run for the door if anything happens.
Wow.
Well, we can't wait to try it. I think it's going to be well worth it.
It's a good site anyway. It looks good there.
It looks authentic.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The combination of the lamb, the hanging octopus, and then you've got this, these roosters. I was going to say chicken there for a second after all that. These roosters with the legs and the heads on and all that sort of thing. It just looks far more authentic, doesn't it? You tend to, when you go to the supermarket here or the butcher, and you don't see any of that stuff,
No,
you start to question the origin of it, don't you?
That's right. Absolutely.
Did you say you were from Asia Minor originally? or-
Yes, my papudas, they originated from Asia Minor, and they travelled across to Limnos, and they settled in Limnos. And the true Limnians, let's call them the Dopye, different people again. It's just like here, the immigrants, that the multicultural nation we are, and we accept and we bring in people. And that was back in the 1920s, from Turkey to Greece.
Did you know what part of Asia Minor your papudas came from?
Ayuvali.
Ayurvali. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is.
No, it's straight across Limnos on the other side.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And obviously Limnos has been the Gallipoli Island. I mean the island, the centre of attention at the
Yes.
moment, where they set up nurses and hospitals and all sorts of things, and they embrace the Anzacs.
Yeah. Well, that's where the Anzacs launched their Gallipoli campaign from.
That's correct. That's all part of it. And there's two cemeteries on Limnos. There's one in Mudro and there's one in Portianu. And that's an important aspect for the Australians and Aussie, as the Greek Australians, to understand and know. And they're well-kept cemeteries. They're not just cemeteries where you just go and there's overriding grass and weeds and everything else.
Yeah.
Beautifully manicured and presented.
Fantastic. And Nick, you're famous for something else as well. We've actually tried your amphora wines.
Yes.
Nick, they're fantastic. Nick Andriotakis has been pouring it into a cup today.
Yeah, right.
We've had it in one of
We
our
had it on
episodes as
the
well.
Greek wines episode, and we had it for this particular reason, because we wanted to get as close as possible to what the ancient Greeks must have been drinking.
Absolutely.
Obviously, very difficult without having the grapes coming from that area or whatnot. But the method, obviously, is the same, and the storage method is the same. It's a fantastic wine, and it's such a clean wine. You've done a fantastic job with it.
Thank you. It's a homage to our grandparents, our parents. I just got to try to keep this tradition going. I've got kids. I don't know where it'll all end up. No guarantees in life. I was told you hold the return ticket, you go to a destination, there's no guarantee you'll ever come back holding a return ticket.
True.
It's my duty, as far as I can do, is to give my kids that inspiration of what our forefathers used to do, how they used to do it. And let's go back to basics. Forget about the chemicals in wine. I use minimal intervention in my wine. I've been making wine for 15 years, ever since my late father passed away. I used to admire his wine, but he never understood the chemistry of it. When you displaced the wine with oxygen in your barrel, it oxidizes, it started turning into a great vinegar.
Yeah.
So
It's the Corio's wine.
it's a
effectively.
Corio's wine,
Yeah.
but it got beyond that and worse
Yeah.
after 6 months. So it was great vinegar.
Yeah. You make a great salad, but
No, it did. However, what I did was bought the 21st or 20th century equipment up to date. But, however, some of the methodology that I've used is an inspiration to my cousins over in Greece. I was always, every year was always over there. It always intrigued me on the way of cooking, the way they presented things, the way they some of the meals that I've had there are just astonishing. We'll beat the 5-star restaurants for dead here.
Yeah.
And it's not a 5-star presentation.
Yeah.
It's a taste. Lago stifado, for example. I'll cook you lago stifado that you'll lick your fingertips and you'll say, give me more like you. That's, you know, it's all part of that journey.
Yeah.
And it's all part of that passion.
Yeah.
Now, I've been on this homage of making wine, and anyone who wants to make it can join me. I have no problem. I've bought a lot of equipment, very serious equipment, and very serious dollars to make it right.
Yeah.
However, it's the old saying that says, you know, there's a hungry man, give him a fish and he won't be hungry for a day. You know, teach him how to fish and he won't be hungry for a long time. So I'm all there for it, for the group, and we have Posada days where we buy 200 boxes of tomatoes. I show them how to make passata, not the Italian way, the Greek way.
Yes.
What's the difference?
Well, there is a difference because the Italians make it in beer bottles, they crown it, they put in barrels with boiling water, wrap it up with newspaper. I looked at it and I said, that's a very cumbersome way of sterilising and boiling and making tomato passata. So when I was over in Greece, my parents originate from Limnos and Aporioko, Kondia. My cousins in Kondia say, oh, we make sauce every year. And I said, how do you make it? And I said, there's no beer bottles here. So they said, okay, in a big pot, we boil the passata sauce, and we de-seed it, and we take the skins off, which is fine. And then after that, we ladle it into the sauce bottles, boil, twist the caps, turn the bottles upside down, leave it for 2 weeks. As the sauce cools down, it creates a vacuum. And as that vacuum, then you've got it for 3, 4, 5 years.
Wow.
There you go. Very simple method. The Greek style.
Fantastic.
Leave it to the Greeks to come up.
Leave it to the Greeks.
You know what? The interesting thing is, I think who was it? I think it was Bill Gates who said, "If I've got a job to do, I don't want to give it to the smartest person in the room. I want to give it to the laziest person, because the laziest person is going to find out the easiest way to do it and come up with the best result, the most efficient way to do it." Isn't that interesting?
I love that way of thinking. That's thinking out of the box.
That's Greek.
That's right.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
We don't want to work too much. We want to spend time on the beach drinking our Ouzo.
Work smarter, not harder.
That's right. Absolutely. Guys, all I can say, you've done a really great job. I've listened to some of your podcasts. You know, inspirational people indeed that you've had on there. And congratulations to you boys. You know.
Thank you so much. You're far too kind. Before we let you go, though, we just want to ask you about the marble.
Oh, marble.
Because marble is your thing.
This could be another episode,
right? Marble is your thing, right?
Marble's been my dream. All I had to do was think, eat, drink,
rocks.
Marble for 35 years, for God's sake.
Well, look. You obviously own Euro Marble here in
Correct. I was the founder of Euro Marble and joined later with my brother Arthur from an IT background. And we're talking about humble beginnings where there are only 2 of us and not an agglomerate of people, not inherited. My late father wasn't a stonemason, he was just a carpenter and gave that up, and he was a convenience store or fruit keeper, like all humble immigrant Greeks.
Sure.
I've got a degree by background, so at the end of the day, I feel that everyone's career takes a path where they've got their passion, their love.
Yes.
And I don't know how I stumbled upon it. It's basically after I met my dear wife in Greece, and I said, look, let's bring out some marble and renovate our home. That's where the story started. And she said, oh, that's great. And marble was it was a luxury product here at the time, very expensive. So I bought out, not knowingly, a container, but realistically only needed to bring out a fifth of a container to do the job. Mm-hmm. So I did bring out that container. I didn't know what to do with the rest. And with all my contacts throughout, I ended up selling it, and I thought, okay, this is feasible in bringing out marble and selling it, promoting Greek marble, because Greek marble wasn't promoted in Australia at that time.
from that point on, it started, humble beginnings started from 2 people to 4 to 5. Now we're about 30 or 40, I'm not sure.
Wow.
It's a succession period, so the kids are taking over basically. And when I say the kids, they're adults.
Yeah.
And I've got one of my sons, and my brother's got 2 of his sons, and I've got one of my other sons' partner in the business.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Well, look,
So the marvel now, and I guess you want to probably talk about Pentelican. Let's go back onto Greek marble.
Yep.
Pentelican marble is non-existent at the moment. And it's very, very, extremely hard to get, if anything. It's like anything. It's like Barrel here in New South Wales, Australia, where they've closed the quarry because the township has grown around the quarry, and a product they used to quarry called trachyte. Same thing happened with Pendelli. Pendelli is whole of residences around the upmarket area, and they've closed that quarry. The similar marble looking to Pendelli is Dionyso. You're splitting hairs, but somebody who's got experience and looks at Dionyso, looks at Pendelli, will see a difference. Pendelli is a lot whiter, a lot richer. For a sculptor who sculpts, and it's a sculptor's dream, and having Pendelli marble, you will need a white marble, not one that's got a wash of green. So the last job that I can remember that I've had was back in the early 2000s, 2021 or whatever it was, where we did a bathroom, and that was the end of it. All the rest has been Dionyso. But I did have a chance of bringing some Pendelli from a contact who had some little blocks in storage. One as a commemorative plaque for St. Sophia in South Darling Street. And the other one I've kept as a spare. I bought it here one year, and Dr. Alexakis, or Peter Alexakis, was actually smashing his octopus on it. Okay. I thought it was a great thing. A bit of history, a bit of octopus smashing on a Pendelli marble.
Absolutely.
What a story.
If I wanted to do my kitchen, like a kitchen bench top, not the Pendelli marble, the
Dionyso?
Is this an expensive marble?
How much money have you got?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Everything's possible. Everything's got a price. I can get you Pendelli if you want. Very limited supply for the elite few. It's like anything.
Of course.
So do they still mine Pendelli?
No, they don't.
So
but there are places where, little pockets where you can find, if you're in Greece, and the little pockets and the little crevices, then you can probably get it out of.
So this Pendelli site has been there for thousands of years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So it's unlimited. It sounds like there's unlimited supply of Pendelli marble.
Well, to a certain extent, because it's an open quarry, it's an open cut. However, all the residences have grown, and the whole area's grown around it. They won't allow quarrying to happen.
So it's
2 things.
You're going to displace people.
There's a noise. It's a noisy operation, and also it's a not a pollutant-free scenario. And this is where Carrara cleaned itself up with regard to the river. Now you see fish in the river that runs through Carrara. Previously, it was murky water. Okay, so a lot of things have changed since then. But the issue also was, back in those years, sorry to go one step further, to buy Pendelli marble, or to buy Tinos marble, or Kozani's marble, or Cavallas, a lot of the people were going through Italy. The Italians were masters at marketing marble. Forget about social media now. Everyone can jump online, Google, and everyone becomes an expert in 15 minutes. They know the source, they know where it comes from. Back then, there wasn't any of that. So I was buying Greek marble out of Italy.
Crazy.
It was. And they were labeling it their own name. And that's where it all...
Same as the olive oil.
Oh, well, it's the same thing. So
and the truffle.
They weren't labeling it Pendelli. They were calling it Bianco Pendalola.
Wow.
And you sort of say, what the hell is that?
Jeez.
If they call it Pendelli, would have been valuable.
Well, of course, but it didn't happen. Now it's a different story. The globalization has wiped out the marble hub of the world being Italy.
Sure.
And every place is a little hub. So you've got China, you've got Greece, you've got Italy, you've got Spain, you've got Portugal. Everywhere, you've got Brazil. Everywhere where they quarry marble, they've got their own little hub and they export it out of there.
Yeah. So is there still a high demand for marble, or is it?
Oh, absolutely. We look, if you Google Euro marble, you'll see we don't do any reconstituted stuff. That's number one. Yeah. Okay, so you forget about the resin and everything else. Our organisation flourishes on not only just marble, but exotic marbles that you would never probably have seen before. So my younger son has taken to the Rains where he's gone and he searched the globe and he's found, oh, here's a pocket, here's another pocket, let's bring that in. The only downside to that is you're gambling on colours.
Yeah, right.
So you're anticipating the designer or the designing architect wants green or pink, and if they change to black or grey, you're gone. You're going to have marble there that's going to have many birthdays. You'll be singing to it every year without candles.
Give it to Dr. Alexakis to bash.
We'll find a use for it.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Wow. And you had an interesting story about your wife. She's a Zimbabwean Greek.
Yes.
So Greeks were in Zimbabwe. How long?
My wife was born in Zimbabwe, or at the time it was called Rhodesia.
Okay.
And Smith was the Prime Minister, and it was a flourishing country, very rich in minerals, resources, they were growing tobacco and all sorts of things. Mugabe took over, and a lot of the Greeks then left Rhodesia becoming Zimbabwe. And they chose countries like Canada, England, Greece, America, and it happened my father-in-law went to Greece. I was in Greece when I finished uni. I fell in love, I got the tick, and I kept on going back. I met my wife in Greece. She didn't like that way or style of living. She was used to, let's call it the Anglo-Saxonized Greek version. And I told her, I said, look, come to Australia, and if you like it, stay for a month. If you don't like it, go back, and nothing's done. She came over, she was enthralled and loved Australia and Sydney. My parents embraced her. She went back.
Yeah. That's it.
In the history, and then we came back and we got married here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Wow. What a story.
It's a moving story.
It is. So Australia,
getting emotional about
to
it.
Limnos. It's an amazing story.
Well, her parents were from Limnos.
Yeah.
My parents from Limnos. Her parents from Kutia. My parents from Kutia.
Wow.
Make the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
All the way from Australia to Zimbabwe, you meet in Limnos. There you go.
Unbelievable.
And you end up in fantastic.
Thank you for sharing it with us, mate. Thank you so much.
Like I said, you're the life of the party here. You're the loudest one here.
That's because I'm going deaf. That's because I've been in marble for too long. I love you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And good luck in your endeavours. Okay.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Ready store, mate.
Yes.
Okay.
Good stuff. Oh, look out.
Oh, here we go.
Hot on the heels. On the heels
if
of
there's
Nick
a Greek
Bourdaniotis.
event, there's Nick Bordo.
Welcome, Nick Bourdaniotis. Please have a seat. Come on.
Down. Put your beer down.
Welcome, Bevia.
You can have a sip of his beer.
It's not beer talk.
It's not. I think we might make this the last interview of the day.
It might have to be.
Leaving the best till last as always.
Look at this. That's a good drumstick.
That's a fantastic drumstick.
Drumstick of lamb.
Where's the GoPro, boys? I'm looking sharp today.
You are looking sharp.
Where's the GoPro? Where's the GoPro?
You're looking, with no GoPro today.
No GoPro today? It's unplugged, is it?
No, it's just by memory, just by sound.
That's awesome.
Well, look, we've had some awesome guests here today, and what better way to finish it up than with photographer extraordinaire Nick Bourdaniotis. Welcome, Nick.
Thank you very much.
We told you we'd get you on the show.
Hot off the heels of coming from Adelaide with the Evzones down there.
Very good.
It was an amazing few days down in Adelaide. It was one of those magical moments And I've actually captured 2 photos that are going to be in the Athens Museum next year, the Athens War Museum.
Well, let's set the story, because for those who don't know Nick is behind the Evzones collection of photography. He took the photos. There's been a number of exhibitions, and it is going to the Athens War Museum next year. A very emotive set of photographs. Nick, you've developed such a strong connection with the Evzones.
But we're going to dedicate attending it too, Tom.
Yes.
The Hellenic Club here in Sydney, when Nick had a great exhibition. The Archbishop was there, and many amazing guests. But
look, we need to do an entire episode on it. But
we're going to before I go to Athens. Yeah,
we definitely are. But mate, you seem to have developed such a strong connection with those guys. What was it like being back with them the other day in Adelaide?
It was like part of the family. The moment I got there, everything's always meant to be when it's meant to be, and the universe always puts you in the right spot. We landed in Adelaide. A friend of ours picked us up. We got to the hotel. Just as we're pulling the bags out, the bus comes behind us. The Evzones, they just came back from the nursing home.
oh wow,
And I look around, and there they are, and I'm like, this is just timing. They hop out. Obviously, a couple of the officials obviously know me
because they stand
I was
down,
invited.
don't they?
Yeah,
They're not just little guys.
It looks like, to everybody else, it looks like a basketball team. It's just arrived. But it's not.
Were they in full kit?
No, just in casual.
Right.
So the guy that invited me was actually on the bus. He goes, "What are you doing? Let's go for lunch." And so we went for lunch, and then from there got to meet everybody. And I must say, Adelaide was one of those amazing historic shoots. And actually, going back to that, it actually included 2 incredible photos into my exhibition for Athens. With my director George Karantonis.
Legend.
Yeah, I gave it to him yesterday, and I said, "George, these have to go in." And he just looked at him and goes, "Wow, they're going in." He picked out a few more.
Were those the words, or were they more colourful?
Yeah, they were very colourful.
A couple of F-bombs in there.
Yeah, no, we're having 33 photos now going to Greece.
Wow.
So we've upped it, because we're taking up the whole war museum down the whole. Yeah, they said fill it up. We don't care how many.
Outstanding.
And when is it, Nick? What are the dates?
It's the 24th of March, 2023. Just before the 25th of March, all the military, everybody will be in town.
Yep.
And that's the opening, and it's there for a month.
Wow.
So Greek-Australian photographer taing photos of the Evzones in the Athens War Museum.
Correct.
How good is that?
It's just not photos you see
When
you go to Greece and Athens. It's photos behind the scenes. It's different. It's around Australia. It's Melbourne, Sydney, and now Adelaide.
Because you did have exclusive access behind the scenes, especially at the Parthenon.
Actually, let's talk about it. 2016, I was here at this very place, on these very grounds.
Wow.
2016, right here, this time.
Yep.
Peter Maneas was here.
And he's here today.
Yep, and I spoke to Pete. Obviously, I've known Pete for a while. And I said to Pete, "You're in Mykonos this year." He goes, "Yeah, I was." Which I did see him. I said, "Remember the boat? You came in?" He goes, "Yeah." I showed him a photo of it. He goes, "Oh, wow." He goes, "I want a photo." I said, "No problem." Anyway, he rang me up. He goes, "Nick, can we catch up for coffee?" I said, "Sure." And I caught up for coffee at 3 Blue Ducks there at Bronte, and he had his director, Alex, with him. And next minute, I was on the boat 3 weeks later. The first episode, the first series, the first My Greek Odyssey. Yeah. And the first hour, the first thing we went to do, we got there 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We were up at 4 in the morning to go to be at the Evzones, at the garrison there at 6 o'clock. And the very first half an hour of shooting was at the Acropolis, and I took those iconic shots of my Greek.
They are
it all
iconic.
started from there.
They are. So you're on the bus with them?
Yeah.
And was it true they don't sit down on the bus?
No, they don't.
stand up,
They just line the bus right up.
and they're standing up, so not to crease their footstone up.
Correct. And it's an old bus. It does the job, and they all just stand there. I've sat at the back. I've sat at the front. I've been on the bus multiple times, and it's something surreal because you see the bus go past and you're actually on it. It's something.
And what was it like? So you're behind the scenes, you walk up at the Parthenon, there's no one else around, just the Evzones. Was there any noise? Did they
just
talk?
The wind. No
Just the
talking,
wind?
nothing.
You hear their shoes tapping?
You hear them, they're crunching on the pebbles. That's the weight of the souls as they're coming. Everything's all got a meaning. Everything that happens is all got. It's actually. It's all symbolic.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I've been up now multiple times. Like, I've been invited by the presidential office officially and the Minister for Culture and Sport to get official letters, because to shoot that, you need actually official papers to actually be up there with a professional camera, let alone being up there with the Evzones. And sometimes it's surreal. You just hear the wind just swirling around, and come 8 o'clock when you hear the church bells, the band starts, the flag starts rising. It's just something else. It's words can't describe. And
it's goosebump stuff.
I know. And then we in the garrison, because they gifted me so many things that are very sentimental for the Evzones. I felt like part of the family. I was sitting with them, having lunch at times, and then I could just walk around and just took photos where the actual people make the costumes, the shoes.
Have you ever put an Evzone outfit on?
No.
Why not?
No.
You'd look good in it, mate. You should.
No. I just never thought about it.
Is there a criteria to be an Evzone? I'm sure there is.
There's a height
6.2.
Yeah.
You got to be 6'2".
You have to be Caucasian. You have to be Orthodox. You have to have no tattoos. You, most of them are educated of some sort. They're all and you can come from anywhere around the world as long as you tick all the boxes. There are people from Australia, there's people from Ireland, there's people from England.
So no tattoos. How do they?
No
visual tattoos.
No tattoos at all. There's no tattoos.
What are they? Do their undies to check? Or?
No, they must. I don't get that involved, but then they've got to pass 6 months of training. You've got to pass that training, and if you pass tick all the boxes, you're in.
Wow.
And did you know, to have a mustache as an Evzone, you have to do 100 hours of service to have a mustache. So those guys
So you need to qualify to grow a
you
mustache.
just can't have a mustache to be an Evzone. That only just kicked in the last 10 to 15 years. Prior to that, they never really had mustaches. So if you see an Evzone with a mustache, you know he's done over 100 hours of standing.
Wow.
At the square or at the presidential.
So if he's cleanly shaven, he's a newbie.
Yeah. He hasn't done his stuff yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
How good's that? And they grow some awesome moustaches too.
Yeah.
With the twirls at the end.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
So you got over 100 hours of standing time to have the honour of growing a moustache.
Correct. How good's that?
Fuck me. That's
The things you know, but what are they?
And how long would they stand in front of the Syntagma Square?
30 minutes, and 30 minutes they stand there, then they do their swap over, and then they come to stand there for another 30 minutes, and then they change every hour on the hour. They come down.
Okay, so they're there for every 30 minutes.
No,
Every
an hour. But
hour.
at 30 minutes they do that swap over. They change to get circulation through there.
Okay, so you do it on their march.
Yeah. So, everything happened with this Evzone exhibition, photos, organically. Nothing was ever. I was always placed, like the Hellenic Club of Sydney actually really started. It was the year before that I was staying at the Grand Britannia there. I had the big long lens, the 400, because I was shooting everybody jumping off the cliff in Kithera, because that's what you do when you're on holidays and you're a photographer. You're taking all your family doing trip assaults. I took a photo of us. There would have been about it's a very great photo. It's about 20 kids jumping off the cliff in Kithera there, and I had the lens, and one night, it was very late at night, and I could see him, so I put the 400 on. I took all these photos of shadows, this, that, from the Grand Britannia, and that next year, the Hellenic Club bought the Evzones for the first time in like 10, 20 years to Sydney, and within a day, I was actually their official photographer.
Yeah.
And then from there, later that year, the next year I was on my Greek Odyssey, and then all of a sudden I was just part of the family, and it all happened organically. Now in Australia, the Evzones are coming. I'm the first person they call to make sure that I'm there.
How good is that?
Because like another big support of mine's Greek City Times. Whereas I'm actually a director there for the photography and all that. They've done a lot of support over the time too. So it's good. Enedini, Elianis. We've got a great team.
You do.
Great City Times, great people there as well.
We go well with
recognised around the world.
Every day the numbers just keep on turning up. Like it's huge. Like everything's all good. Life's good, and it's great to see you boys here.
Well, mate, we can't wait to get you on for a dedicated episode. So before you go overseas for the exhibition, this is happening.
We want to do one. I think what would be good if you can grab an Evzone, you and an Evzone, we're going to the distillery. We're going to kick back with some Ouzo. We're going to tell some stories.
Definitely. Look, there is one or two that I've got in mind here in Australia, but I've just got to get them over the line because the Greek to English is not the best. Yeah. They're just embarrassed after embarrassed, but no, definitely, 100%.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Definitely.
Thank you very much, boys, for having me on.
The people you bump into, Tom, eh?
I know, right?
Sitting in someone's backyard and Nick Bourdaniotis pops up.
It's not the first time.
No, it's definitely not the first time I've turned up to an Ouzo Talk session.
Like Angelo said.
This time I'll take a photo of myself to the session.
Wherever you go, like Angelo said, petάχτηκες αντιπορδί.
Just thrown out like a fart.
That's it.
Good on you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Good on you, mate.
Thank you.
Well, I reckon it's time for us to have a few drinks and maybe have something to eat. What do you reckon?
I think so.
We need to be part of this.
Exactly. The crowds have doubled. All the lambs have come off the spit now. Everyone's standing around holding a cup of beer and eating food with their fingers. We're missing out now.
I know.
We need to join in.
I think so as well. And look, it's been an absolute pleasure this season, Nick. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this together. It's been unbelievable.
Tom, not in my wildest imagination, I would imagine what we would have ended up doing and where we're at, the people we've met, the things we've done. I love you, mate. You're like my brother now.
Likewise, mate.
You're hanging off the hip. And look, I can't wait for season 2. Mate, it's been an amazing ride, amazing journey we've had.
There's a lot to come.
We've smashed a few bottles of Ouzo and Cipro along the way, which has been enjoyable immensely.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to do it again in season 2, bigger and better.
Absolutely. And look, we're probably going to take a few weeks off before we get into season 2 properly. We've got a few guests lined up, some awesome shows coming up for next year. Comedians, actors, writers, poets, whatever you want to call it. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening. We cannot wait to come into season 2.
Thank you for everyone out there who's been supporting us, been listening in. We love the way you guys write in and your comments. It seems like we're on a good thing, so keep it up. We'll try and read out some of the comments when we get them. I know we've been a bit slack lately, but look, we appreciate all you guys for your support out there. And Tom, look, I'm looking forward to season 2, mate. It's been an amazing season 1. We're only going to get bigger and better from here.
ouzotalk@outlook.com is the email. Follow us at Ouzo Talk on most social media platforms and at Ouzo_talk on Instagram. Nick Athanasiou, thank you very much for the last time in season 1.
Tom Skolarikas, thank you, my buddy. It's been awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Yamas.
See you next year.
Ακολουθήστε μας στο Soundees, στο Spotify, στο Apple Podcasts και στο Google Podcasts.